Okay, so the lesson today involves sunscreen and the sun and how it's really important to wear sunscreen. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit and having some fun with it. And then the kids are going to be using this photoreactive paper. And this stuff is in an envelope, and hopefully it's in a piece of plastic like this. And it should look like this. It's kind of blue in color. And it's really important not to expose this to sunlight before we're ready for it. So when it comes to the point in the lesson where we're ready to have the kids use it, what we'll have them do is I'll just have you give each kid a piece of it, okay? And then I'm going to switch the camera around here and show you kind of what I have in mind for this lesson. Okay, so I think that the best thing to do will be to have the kids have a piece of white paper like this folded in half. So when you give them their sheet of photoreactive paper, they can just cover that up on their desk with the white paper, and that'll keep it from getting exposed to the sun. Now, what we'll have you do is the students are going to choose either some sort of item in the room, like this pair of tweezers that I have, or maybe a paper clip, or they're going to find something outside like a leaf. And we're going to send you outside for this one, so that ought to be a lot of fun. And hopefully it's not too windy on the day we're doing the lesson, but if it is, the kids are just going to have to hold their paper and the object. And the way this photoreactive paper works is that when the sun hits it, it causes a chemical reaction to occur. And so here's some examples of some that I've done before. I put some different leaves on this one, a piece of like a longer skinny leaf and some littler leaves. And you can see the reaction there that happened. Here I kind of did like the bunny ears on the paper, okay, and you can see my fingers where it touched and where it was shadow. And then this one I actually used like a marker, and I had a rock holding the paper down. So I'm going to take this outside, and I'm going to try the tweezers and the paper clip, and we'll see how it works. Now the trick is that you can't really expose it to the sun until you have your items on it. So if the kids keep the white paper over it, as they go out there, find a place to set it down and then put their items on top of it, I think that's going to work the best. Okay, so now we're outside. You can see I've got myself positioned so that the paper is in the shadow, and my photoreactive paper is underneath this piece of paper. Here's the items I'm going to use, the paper clip and the tweezers. And so what you'll need to have the kids do is just take this piece of paper off, make sure that the photoreactive side is facing up, and as quick as you can, get these items on the paper. Okay, so you want to get them on there as quick as you can, and then you just need to move yourself out of the shadow, and you're going to let the sun hit that directly for about 3 minutes or so, and you'll actually be able to see that the paper is going to turn kind of a white color as these sit on there and as the sun hits it. Okay, so I've got my paper in here, and it's had time to sit in the sun, and here's the items I put. Again, I put the paper clip and the tweezers on there. And what I did was, when I thought it had sat in the sun long enough, about 3 to 5 minutes, I covered it with the paper, and the paper's right in here. You can see what it looks like. Okay, it's got these imprints on it. Now you have to take it and put it in water. Okay, and that's going to make this permanent. So you want to just get it in water and just kind of let it soak in this water. All right. So you can see I've got it right in the bowl right there, and it's getting soaked. And it just needs to be in the water for about 30 seconds or so, a minute maybe. Okay, kind of mix it around a little bit. Make sure it gets all nice and soaked. And once it's been soaked in the water, then you can take a paper towel or something, okay, and it should start to, the sections that were white, okay, were the place where the sun hit, that should start to turn kind of a bluish color. Alright. So when it's all done, you just take this out, and we're going to set it right here on this paper towel, and we're going to let it dry. Okay, so here now you can see what happens after you put it in water and allow it to dry out. You can see that I've got, the paper clip didn't come out great, but the tweezers actually came out pretty well. And what's interesting is when you look at this, you can actually see what parts were completely blocked from the sun. All right, and the white is what was completely blocked out, and then the darker the blue, the more sunlight that was getting to the paper, the more UV rays. And so you can see there's some variation here where there was a little bit of sunlight getting underneath the tweezers, and obviously the paperclip, several of those places were not touching the paper, and so sun was getting in underneath the paperclip. So that's how this is going to work.